Bosch Communication Systems, a business unit of Bosch Security Systems, is now one of the world's leading manufacturers and suppliers of professional audio, wireless, life safety, and communication equipment. Bosch Communication Systems offers complete system solutions for the world's most critical high-profile installations and events. Together, the future sounds secure.
Welcome back to Sound and Communications Viewpoint. I'm Christopher Maione. This is Dave Berlin. Our topic of conversation is open architecture. And Dave, let's talk a little bit about some of the specific manufacturers that have some proprietary / closed items, such as Cisco, Tandberg, Polycom. What's your viewpoint on the benefits versus the cons of having this somewhat closed architecture?
Well, I'm sure each of those manufacturers, if they were sitting here with us, would tell us, oh no, we're not closed, we're open, because closed in our industry is viewed as evil, and open is viewed as good. However, as we find in our practical life, that it's not always that way. And that, specifically, if you look at TMS, which is an unbelievable product, they're certainly sharing bits of it in what they feel that they can without giving away their intellectual property with their competitors.
Right, but on the flip side, a client that has a global system, and if there's a merger or acquisition with another firm and they have non-Tandberg codecs, it's not an easy thing to bring on a non-Tandberg codec into TMS. Very much the same as the new sound structure audio matrix has got a proprietary code to talk to a Polycom codec. And while I see the benefits of it communicating directly to a Polycom codec, I'm a little surprised that they would keep that port closed and not open it up to compatibility with other codecs. Yeah,
I think it may be just a maturity level within those companies. I mean, if we're certainly old enough to remember the days of IBM, and they dominated the whole computer industry, and they were very against Unix and Linux, and now they're very supportive of those open platforms because they realize the benefit of doing what they do best, which is manufacturing computers and maybe not developing applications to those computers. And I certainly hope that the companies that we deal with realize that the benefit of supplying something and being the base of manufacturing or of software for whatever systems they're developing certainly outweighs it.
Right, but I mean, take a fundamental concept such as audio conferencing. Now, most of our global clients have Cisco IP telephony systems, and yet we can't access a simple analog port into the Cisco system to do audio conferencing. We're still emulating analog lines, and there's really no threat to Cisco to open up such a port. They would be compatible with anybody's audio conferencing. They don't really make their own audio conferencing hardware for a conference room environment. So it's instances like that I think that that closed architecture is somewhat stifling our ability to give a good system design to our client.
Absolutely, and hopefully our clients will demand that, since they have the buying power with Cisco, and I think that they are, that they see the benefits of going with Brand X for so many reasons, and they're going to demand that open compatibility, that standards-based system, that open architecture. I think it's going to be hard for us as consultants and AV integrators to make those demands. It's a global concern.
Do you think there'll ever be a day where we will see control systems such as AMX and Crestron be compatible, where their programming language and their ability to talk to each other's boxes is completely transparent to us as designers and integrators?
No.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
I think
that's where proprietary comes into play, I think.
And it's also it's a belief system that they're doing something. They're marching down a path that's unique. And if AMX were sitting here, they're going to explain what their logic is and how they're part of the IT world and how they see themselves fitting in. And Crestron, would sit here and have that same conversation and have very equally valid points. The fear is, obviously, that, and it's not so much a fear, the reality is the broad-based IT world. I mean, most of my customers now are IT managers. So the AV people that we've supported for the AV managers who we've supported for years and years, who many times were operating on islands, are now reporting into the IT infrastructure of a global company.
And clearly the IT world is more a world of an open architecture.
Absolutely.
Internet protocol is supposed to be switches and switches of all different manufacturers talk. There are very little advantages of using anything proprietary in the IT world, whereas we are seeing certain advantages or disadvantages in the AV world. And frankly, I would like to see, as products establish themselves and as they become the recognized leader in the industry, that they open up their architecture a little more and provide more compatibility across systems.
I couldn't agree with you more. It is important, however, to make the distinction that in most IT topologies, it is very common throughout. There's there's one standard, there's one need, where we're almost custom designers. You walk into a room and you look at the acoustics of that room, the architecture of that room, the lighting of that room, and you look at all those different properties, and then you're going to make decisions on what size screen are going to go in, what's going to work best, what level of user is going to go in. I mean, currently, most rooms that we develop today with you have tech pages. So we want one interface for our customer to see, the end user to see, and another interface for the AV professional or perhaps the IT department to see. And so in many ways, we're just custom builders.
Hey, thanks a lot for watching Sound and Communications Viewpoint. We'll be back in 2 weeks to wrap up this discussion. That was good.